After a loss last night, the Port Huron Prowlers will look to spoil a special evening here and earn a split with the Columbus River Dragons. Good evening, everyone. My name is Will Wiggleman, here with you just a little bit later than expected. The River Dragons are retiring the number of their first captain in franchise history, Chase Fallis. His number 14 will be hung in the rafters tonight, and that is the pregame ceremony going on. So puck drop has been pushed from 7:30 to 7:45, and we'll have that for you in just about 15 minutes. But last night, the Prowlers fell to these River Dragons 5-2, and it was a game that, Port Huron didn't necessarily play poorly, just got some unlucky bounces, game got away from them, and they'll look to bounce back tonight after holding the River Dragons scoreless for the final 40 minutes of play in that opening game. Puck drop is just about 15 minutes away after the pregame ceremony and jersey retiring for Chase Fallis, who will be playing tonight as a celebrity player. It's all coming up next. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Back here in Columbus, as the Prowlers and River Dragons are waiting for a pregame ceremony before beginning this one. Let's take a look back at last night's game, a 5-2 win for Columbus. And the River Dragons got off to a hot start, taking advantage of some tough bounces in the Prowlers' defensive end. Paul Frageau, Edgars Ozelinj getting the scoring started in the first 5 minutes. Josh Petrantonio added another just past the halfway point. And then Jacob Kelly and Alex Storjahan scored later in the frame. Storjahan beating the buzzer with just 1 second left. That made it a 5-0 game through 20 minutes. But the Prowlers held strong through the next 40. Danik Rodri came in to relieve Wyatt Hofflin, who faced 12 shots and made 7 saves. Rodrigue stopped all 16 shots he faced in the final 2 periods of that game. And in the third, Prowlers got a couple on the board. Dalton Jay took a pass from Evan Foley on a turnover in the River Dragons end and picked the corner from the slot. That got the Prowlers on the board 4:08 into the third. And then later in the period, Sam Merritt on another turnover picked the pocket of Adam Vanelli and beat Bailey McBurney. That sent a frustrated McBurney stick into the post. It snapped in half, and he had to get a new piece of lumber. But the Prowlers unable to complete the comeback as they fall 5-2 yesterday. Well, if you're just joining us and wondering why there's no hockey being played already, as this puck drop was originally scheduled for 7:30 tonight, it's because of a pregame ceremony for this guy, Chase Fallis, the first captain in River Dragons franchise history. He's getting his number 14 retired by the team. He was a celebrity signing for tonight's game, so he will be in the lineup for the River Dragons. Captained the team to the Ignite Cup in 2021 as the champions of the pandemic FPHL, a season where not all the teams played, so instead of handing out the Commissioner's Cup, they handed out the Ignite Cup, and Fallis captained his team to the championship there. He also won the 2018 Commissioner's Cup with the Carolina Thunderbird, but in Columbus, 65 games over 2 seasons, 41 points for Chase Fallis. And again, the first ever captain in River Dragons history. He gets his number up on the wall just over a couple feet over to my left here, along with some Columbus Cottonmouths legends, a former SPHL team that called this arena home. So that's what's going on right now and why we haven't begun the game quite yet. Well, the Prowlers are coming into this one just looking for a split in this two-game set. Coming on the road, this is their 5th game in a row away from McMorran Place. It started with a loss in Motor City a couple of weeks ago. Then last weekend, they swept the Mississippi Seawolves in Biloxi and then dropped the first game yesterday. So game number 5 of this road trip, they do return to McMorran Place for 2 games next week, the 2 days after Thanksgiving. Those will be against the Binghamton Black Bears. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's game for the Port Huron Prowlers. Same lines, just different starters, as Tucker Scantleberry, Matt Graham, and Dalton Jay will get the start up front for Port Huron. Brian Parsons and Austin Federley, the defense pairing, to begin this one for the Prowlers. And in goal, Danik Rodrigue, who we mentioned, made all 16 saves he had to in the last 40 minutes of play in last night's game. He held the River Dragons off the scoreboard after that first period, and he earns the start here tonight. Puck drop coming to you in just a couple of minutes, and we'll have it here for you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
It's also Education Day here in Columbus, so a high school band will be performing the national anthem for you in just moments. We'll take you down there.
Their passion and drive to keep playing during the adversity of the pandemic is truly inspirational to musicians everywhere. Please give a big hand to Richard Middle School Warrior Band, directed by Nancy Lester, and welcome them to the presentation of tonight's national anthem.
Almost set to play hockey here in Columbus as they wrap up the mats. And we'll take a look at the goaltending matchup for you tonight. It will be Danik Rodrigue and Brendan Colgan. Colgan coming off of a 30-save shutout last weekend against Columbus. That was his, or against Watertown, excuse me, right here in this building, the Columbus Civic Center. And Rodrigue, of course, coming off of 16 saves and 40 scoreless minutes last night here in this building. So both teams getting set to go for the opening faceoff coming in just a couple of minutes. Prowlers wearing their typical road whites with the red stripe across the chest, while the River Dragons, with their lots of jersey options that they do have, they'll opt for the black uniforms with a black dragon on the front and teal outlines on the numbers and the dragon. Dragons coming into this one with an 8-1-0 record with 23 points atop the Continental Division, as the crowd here recognizing Matt Graham for playing in his 300th game yesterday here in this building. So a nice touch from the River Dragons crowd and the people here in Columbus to give some recognition to the Prowlers head coach and GM, who became the 9th player in FPHL history to hit 300 games played in the league. His team comes in 3rd in the Continental Division at 5-4-2. As both teams get set to go, and we are about to get underway in this one. Graham's line starts against Petrantonio, Krupp, and Fallis up front, while Greco starts on the back end for Columbus, along with, looks like, LaBelle, and we're underway. Petrantonio muscled off by Parsons behind the net. Comes to the point, LaBelle couldn't keep it in, and Petrantonio had the puck in the slot, but play was offsides just 20 seconds into this one. Almost a good chance for Petrantonio to get his 2nd of the year. He scored yesterday, as his team is 5-0 so far this year when he's in the lineup. Rodrigue just did keep it away from an oncoming Dragon. The Prowlers get out. Here's Graham, 2-on-2 with Jay over the line. Graham stops up, tried to feed it down low. That hit a skate. Scantleberry in the corner. Storage ahead helps it out. Now Parsons stepped in front of King and got it back deep. Big hit there by Scantleberry in the corner as that puck careens out of play. 49 seconds into the first period, and the Prowlers will have an offensive zone draw, and it will be a power play for Port Huron, as LaBelle is guilty of delay of game. That puck did go straight out, so the Prowlers power play will get its first opportunity of the game, and a little bit of a different look here. Foley, Scantleberry, Jay, Federley, and Devaney, the 5 out there for Port Huron. A little bit of mixing of power play units. Prowlers failed on a number of opportunities yesterday to score on the man advantage, but an early chance to get on the board first, as Federley winds and fires, saved by Colgan. The rebound pinballed around, and it's scooped up by Columbus and cleared all the way down. Dragons change their defense unit as Devaney crosses the red line, gets into the offensive zone. He'll rim it around in Jay's direction. Dalton Jay collects at the point, gives to Foley on the half wall. Across to Devaney, winds and fires. That one blocked by Underwood, back out of the zone. Alex Johnson fresh off the bench. Scantleberry deflected it in, but only as far as Frageau. Finelli clears it all the way down as the Prowlers switch up their unit. Johnson, Vartiainen, Freeborn, Merritt, and Graham, the second unit for Port Huron on this man advantage. Freeborn in front, and Merritt's shot blocked aside by Colgan. Graham, down low to Merritt, out to the top towards Johnson, but that hopped over his stick, and that's as good as a River Dragons clear. 30 seconds left on the penalty to LaBelle. Vartiainen starts up ice. Feeds to the right wing, Merritt. Works around the net, put it in front, nobody home, and backhanded out by Kelly. Final 13 seconds ticking off of LaBelle's penalty. Johnson turns back to Vartiainen. He's forced back by Kelly. As the power play expires for Port Huron, and River Dragons' top-ranked penalty kill is undefeated here tonight. Here's Vartiainen in, has Foley going to net, winds and fires. That's eaten up by a stick and goes out of play. 3:03 into period one. Gino Mini stepping out onto the ice for the Prowlers. He's paired with Adam Hainzel. Face off, one to the wall. LaBelle puts it around to Greco. He's met there by Foley, and a nice hit there by Evan Foley. Turned over to Devaney. Now Foley, backhand, saved by Colgan. Devaney tried to feed it in front. That hit the side of the net. Now out to Mini in the neutral zone. Tried to feed Foley. Puck was in his skates. So it comes to Greco. He gets the D-to-D pass back. King starts the regroup. Off of Devaney, Foley tried to play it further. River Dragons come in, 2-on-2 rush. Quick shot, deflected off of Mini, stick and high. Back to the point, Vanelli's shot. That one goes wide. Storjahan first on it. Hainzel puts him to the ice. Puck pops out for Mini. He works up the left wing boards, bumps the puck out to center. Prowlers make a couple of changes as Vanelli tried to feed Krupp heading into the Prowlers' end, and icing is called even though Rodrigue came out to play that puck. Prowlers still get the icing call, and we'll see where this faceoff ends up. It will be at center. It's the referees with a my bad on that one. 15:48 to go in the first period. No score yet between the Prowlers and the River Dragons. Tipped in, and here's Federley. Reverse back towards DeCumbus. Comes to the point. Vanelli's shot tipped wide. That was Jake Cox who got a stick on it in front. Didn't play yesterday, but is back in the lineup tonight. He's a Columbus, Georgia native. Krupp takes it off of Parsons' stick. Jay Krupp powering in, couldn't put it on net. Now Parsons almost had his pocket picked. Instead, he's able to move it up. DeCumbus to Graham. Tried to feed Vinny DeCumbus heading to the net. Puck ends up in the corner. Rogers off the boards to Ozelinch. Now the Dragons move up. It's Underwood. Dumping it in. He'll get it himself. He puts it in front. Parsons kept it away from an oncoming day. Here's Graham. Flipping it high in Scantlebury's direction. He taps it past Rogers. And shouldered off by Petrantonio. Puck still there in the corner. Jay put it to the point. Here's Johnson. Wrist shot. Deflected wide. Looked like it may have hit Jay on the way. Petrantonio muscling up with Johnson. Johnson takes him into the boards after whacking his stick away. Crowd wants a call. Refs won't give it to him. Rogers winds and fires, sliding, blocked by Scantlebury. Jay tips it up in Scantlebury's direction. He has it. Rogers defending. Scantlebury, power move, saved by Colgan. Puck still there, and finally Colgan covers up. 13:56 to go in the first period. Prowlers with a couple of good opportunities, but still no score. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Back here in Columbus, no score, 13:56 to go in the first period. And you just saw Tucker Scantleberry with a nice power move to the net on the rush. He's trying to get back in on the score sheet. He had his 7-game point streak snapped yesterday in game number 8 of his Prowlers career. 5 goals, 5 assists, 10 points so far. LaBelle plays it over to Greco. Long pass up towards King. That one just way too high for Lane King to knock down. He's taken into the wall by Hainsel. Put it a backdoor pass towards Kelly, but Minnie had him tied up. Off of Storjahan into the Columbus end. Here's LaBelle. Up the boards, gets through a River Dragon and goes all the way down for icing. .29 on the clock as the Prowlers will have an offensive zone faceoff to Brendan Colgan's left. Dustin Henning returning from the Prowlers locker room. Didn't see him go off, but probably just an equipment issue. As here's Kelly into the zone. Had King going to the net. Opts to go back to the point instead. Greco's shot deflected wide off of Vartiainen. Minnie. King took it from him. Minnie giving King a couple of whacks. Now Storjahan continues the cycle. Now to the point, Greco. That one off the boards, off the back of the net. And Minnie takes a hit. Vartiainen. Puck was in his feet. Storjahan able to take it from him. Now Alex Storjahan turns up ice, gives to Krupp. Krupp winds and fires. Blocker saved by Rodrigue. Rebound comes out to Devaney. He'll pull up and slide to Vartiainen. Larry in, tried to find Merritt going to the net. Instead it was blocked, and here comes Krupp again the other way. Jay Krupp with LaBelle going to the net. Wrist shot, gloved and held by Rodrigue. Rodrigue up to 3 saves already so far in this one. That one likely may have been his easiest so far of the night. Certainly not his last, though. Merritt wins the face-off back for Port Huron. Here's Federley up to Decumbus off his skate and recovered by the River Dragons. Rodrigue holds behind the net. To a side scrum in the corner. Chase Fallis involved. If you're just joining us, he's the celebrity player tonight for the River Dragons. Their first ever captain retired a couple of years ago, but they retired his number today. And here's Freeborn into the zone. Cross towards Merritt. That pass was behind him. Dragons coming with numbers. Here's Frageau. Pass across in the direction of Schmidt. He put it back on and right in the glove of Rodrigue. Schmidt, a guy who didn't see playing time yesterday, wasn't in the lineup. More of a tough guy for the River Dragons. Won the King of the Rink Cruiserweight Championship at the Ice Wars, which if you don't know what Ice Wars is, it's just the fighting aspect of hockey. It's like a boxing match just on ice. Comes up towards Jay, and Scantleberry took a hit after he made that pass from Petrantonio, much to the delight of the crowd. Johnson whacks it in. That went off of the weird hop in that corner. Graham able to keep the puck deep, puts it on. That one deflected over top of the net. Petrantonio leaves for Underwood. Now it's poked back into River Dragon ice. Now Petrantonio again. Holding, moving up ice, gets the red line, flips it high and in. Rodrigue underneath it to make the grab, and he'll hold on. 10:54 to go in a first period with not all that much action yet between the Prowlers and the River Dragons. Certainly the scoreline better for Port Huron at this point tonight than it was last night. So it was already a 2-0 game by this point yesterday. False start on the faceoff, and now they drop it for real. Here's Minnie. Out of the reach of Foley, excuse me. King back into the Prowlers zone. His pass was deflected. And Vartiainen tries to move up. Cut off at center by Storjahan. In around, Rodrigue holds on. Hansel up the boards towards Devaney. Head up, but his pass blocked by Storjahan right on him. Comes to Kelly, has some space on the right wing, pulls up, put it towards the net, missed it wide. Storjahan tried to drop it off at the point. Here's Devaney. And Storjahan takes it right back from Joe Devaney, who's trying to make a dangle at the red line. Greco sends it off the far wall. And now Hansel stops up behind his own net. Prowlers complete a change and start a breakout. Here's Freeborn. Played his first pro game yesterday with Port Huron. He blows a tire at the blue line. Puck at center. Decumbus kept it away from an oncoming River Dragon. Here's Merritt back in. Over to Decumbus. Vinny Decumbus just trying to keep it deep in River Dragon's territory. It squirts back out to center. And now Frageau with time in his own end. 9:25 to go in the first period. Shots 4 apiece between the River Dragons and the Prowlers. No score yet. Cox fed it down low towards Wickline. Comes right back to Jake Cox. Now poked past Vanelli at left point. Here's Scantleberry with a chance. Kick save by Colgan. Graham got there together with the River Dragon. And Columbus able to move out. Scantleberry with a nice hit on Underwood. Jay moved it towards Graham. That bouncing puck eluded him. Parsons kept it in at the point. Put it just wide of the net. Frageau collects in the corner. Petrantonio reached and missed. But Underwood able to take it back from Jay. And the Dragons into the zone. Petrantonio going to the next. Then it comes to Underwood. And he didn't get all of that chance. Day works his way in front, poked back out, and a shot by Rogers. Rebound, knocked out of the air. Puck still bouncing, and Prowlers guilty of hitting it with a high stick. So face-off coming in Prowlers territory. When we come back, you're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
Back here in Columbus, the Prowlers and the River Dragons knotted up at none so far. Shots 5-4 in favor of Port Huron so far to begin this game. Foley line out there for Port Huron for this defensive zone draw against the Storjahan line. He's flanked by Kelly and King. Storjahan does all he can to poke it back. King feeds it down low, comes in front, and Rodrigue has it at the side of the net. Now the face-off will come to the other side. Rodrigue didn't really know where that puck was, but he had it under the blocker, pinned against the side of the net. No danger for the Prowlers. Puck comes in front towards Vartiainen. Now Kelly working it across. King collects it in front. Kelly blocked by Johnson. Puck sauced across Storjahan, saved by Rodrigue, sliding across. Now back to the point again, that shot whistles wide. Big hit here on the near side boards, and that puck down low. Kelly at the side of the net, comes back out in front, another desperation stop from Rodrigue. Prowlers trying to clear the zone, they just do. Now Henning pokes it further. Storjahan turns it back the other way, takes the shot, Rodrigue steers it to the corner. Kelly whipped it in front, in and out of Rodrigue's glove. Boy, some tense moments for the Prowlers. 6:50 to go in this first period. And finally the whistle blows as Rodrigue gets a hold of the puck. Boy, the Prowlers got a little bit lucky there. Danik Rodrigue with a couple of 10-bell saves. One on Storjahan at the side of the net. Got a little bit lucky as Kelly was unable to tip home a shot that came to him right on the back door. He had a yawning cage at the side of the crease. He couldn't tap it in. And this game stays scoreless. Prowlers will look to clear their own end, but first, a shot from Vanelli from the point. And we'll have another face-off to Rodrigue's left. Add another save for him. Shots now 9-5 in favor of Columbus. Merritt wins this one back. Here's Minnie dancing up, gives the pass to Freeborn. Now takes the give and go back. Gino Minnie lost the handle. And Frageau off the boards, only as far as Merritt, but that puck hopped over his stick. And now going the other way is Wickline. Dumped it in, sidestepped a hit from Gino Minnie. Now Hainsel took a hit from Wickline. Freeborn taken in by Cox. River Dragons recover the puck. Frageau towards the net. That deflected high over top of the cage. Now DeCumbus off the boards. Couldn't get around Krupp. Hainsel goes D to D to Minnie. He'll slow things down as the Prowlers begin to change. Vanelli picks up the loose puck. Krupp backhands it deep. And the River Dragons change up their forwards. Day in front to Wickline. Save, rebound, they score! It was Kirk Underwood at the side of the net. Had one chance but made good on the second. And the River Dragons on the board first. It's 1-0. Kirk Underwood with his 5th of the year, 9th point of the season. He starts the scoring here tonight in Columbus. Scantlebury, Petrantonio come together in front of the penalty boxes. Graham plays it back to Federley. Now Parsons. His pass eludes Scantlebury, and icing is called against the Prowlers. So that's the first goal Danik Rodrigue has given up so far in this building after 40 scoreless minutes yesterday. As Graham and the goal scorer Underwood will draw. Comes over in Jay's direction. He chases it down and moves up ice. To Scantlebury, trying to fight past Rogers, couldn't do it. Scantlebury knocked down, puck still loose. Graham tried to cycle down towards Jay, comes back to Matt Graham. He fanned on the shot, and diving poke back out by Rogers gets the puck to Port Huron ice. Federley stopped behind his own net. Toe drag around Petrantonio. Now Austin Federley gives to Graham. Here's Jay with some space, takes the shot, missed it well wide. Puck hops off the sideboards. And back out to center. Scantlebury and Petrantonio tied up in the Dragons' end, far away from the puck. And now Jay into the zone, takes the shot. That one blocked a little bit painfully by Greco. Now here's Scantlebury. Fought off by Greco. And Kelly turns the puck the other way. Petrantonio kicks it up to his stick, gets the red line, gets it deep. Johnson around to Parsons. Brian Parsons has some skating space, and he took it. Got the red line, got it all the way around. LaBelle trying to force it out. Vartiainen kept it in. Comes back around to the near side. 4 minutes to go in the first period. Kelly chopped at it. And now River Dragons the other way. Couple of Dragons collided. That was King and Storjahan. Devaney trying to take advantage. Takes the shot. That one blocked. And out of play goes the puck. 3:43 to go in the first period. River Dragons have taken control over the past few minutes, but we stay scoreless here in Columbus. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Back here in Columbus, late first period, and it's a 1-0 Dragons lead. You've noticed our new clock feature so far this weekend. Not necessarily the most accurate thing in the world so far. If you'd like to help us out and run this clock for Prowlers home games as a volunteer, we would very much appreciate it. Email will@phprowlers.com for the opportunity. This is all me here tonight, although we are getting our camera feed from the River Dragons, so we appreciate them for that. Faceoff comes to the corner. Freeborn battling in there with a couple of Dragons. Rimmed around this side, and Krupp picks it up off the boards, starts the rush. Johnson and Wickline get there together. Cox takes the puck. Taken in by Henning. 3 Prowlers in there, 2 Dragons. And Henning ends up with the biscuit. He tried to pass up to Freeborn, was behind him, and icing is called against the Prowlers. It's an offensive zone draw coming for Columbus as they make a full 5-man change. They'll send out Day's line. Petrantonio will take the draw with Merritt. One back to the point. Winding, firing, save, rebound, batted back on Rodrigue, and he'll hold on. That was Day at the side of the net who got that puck out of midair. And Danik Rodrigue able to find it and hold on for a whistle. All River Dragons in this later part of the period, especially since they've scored that goal. As Day rips one, that one went wide. Ozilage pinching in from his point. He battles in the corner with a couple of Prowlers. Henning trying to dig it out of there. Merritt tries to force it back that direction, and finally Freeborn able to get it to DeCumbus. He's surrounded by Dragons at center. Vinny DeCumbus sees the puck poked back. And here's Graham. Matt Graham, turnaround shot. Doesn't find Cage, and now Mini shot on net. Ends up being a dump to the corner. Chipped back out to center. Here's Rogers. 3-on-2 rush, drops for Underwood. Tried to force it to the net. Back check by Hainzel. Took out Underwood, also took out Rodrigue. Meanwhile, here's Jay. Mini a shot. And that one found the glass. Jay tried to force it back on net. That didn't get all the way through. Mini knocked it down, but with his stick, so illegally. And the Prowlers guilty for knocking the puck down with their own high stick. Actually, this will be an offsides call, so it may have hit the River Dragon who was in the area. So offsides the call against Columbus with 2:01 to go in the first period. Scantlebury off the draw, taken away. Here's Storjahan turning back. Storjahan fought off by Graham. To the point, wrist shot by LaBelle, steered to the glass by Rodrigue. Mini up the boards. Jay takes it, just pushes it past LaBelle. Now Storjahan to the near side. Greco picks it up, takes the shot, stopped by Rodrigue. Mini fights off a hit. Worked out towards Foley, and now Scantlebury works the other way. 3-on-2 if they hurry. Scantlebury dropped to Jay, takes the shot, and Colgan got a piece of that one. Funny hop off the boards. Comes right to Storjahan. Storjahan feeds it down low. Backhander. They score. Great play by Storjahan to make the pass to the center. And the River Dragons have made it a 2-0 game. It's Kelly with the goal. So the strange hop off the boards in the River Dragons end burns the Prowlers and allows Columbus to come back the other way. And a nice pass from Storjahan to Kelly driving the net. He doubles the advantage for the Dragons with just over a minute to go in this first period. Krupp hooked off his stick. Foley up to center. Here's Vanelli. Foley picked that one off. Came up high on Federley, and then Rodrigue sticks out the leg to keep Wickline from a goal. Boy, Danik Rodrigue has had to make some great saves in this game. And that one no different as he robs Wickline, making a power move to the net, stretching out that toe. Net came off, and we'll see where the faceoff ends up. They'll take the faceoff outside of the Prowlers' end, and they say Wickline, the one who knocked the cage off. Wickline wins that puck back. Now Rodrigue collects behind the net. Here's Federley, trying to move up ice. Stead curls back from pressure. Parsons out of the reach of Vartiainen. Vanelli off of Vartiainen's stick, and it finds the netting behind Rodrigue and goes out of play. 20.7 seconds on the big board here in Columbus. It's a 2-0 River Dragons lead. Faceoff coming outside of the Prowlers' end. Wickline and Merritt set to take the draw. They'll make sure that Schmidt and DeCumbus are back in the right spots. Now Merritt up through Freeborn, icing waved off. 11 seconds left on the clock. Merritt takes it in the corner, has to hurry. Move to DeCumbus. Comes to Freeborn, to the point, Parsons put it on. Merritt was dumped as time expires here in the first period with the Columbus River Dragons holding a 2-0 lead over the Port Huron Prowlers. Shots on goal 18-6 in favor of Columbus through one period of play. So both teams heading off to the locker rooms for the first intermission. And we'll take a timeout as well, but first, get your holiday shopping started early at the Prowlers official team store located on the west end of McMorran Arena. The store is open every home game all season long, featuring t-shirts, sweatshirts, koozies, socks, and more. Youth hoodies and mini sticks are back in stock as well. Rep your team in style with gear from the Prowlers team store. 2-0 River Dragons through one period of play as we've hit the first intermission. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Back here in Columbus, 2-0 our score through one period of play between the River Dragons and the Prowlers. Will Wiggleman here with you as our countdown clock here says 5:53 to go in this first intermission. But if you'd like to keep this clock around, I know I like having it on the broadcast, but if you'd like to help me keep it on the broadcast, we need volunteers for Prowlers home games to keep the clock on our broadcast. So please email will@phprowlers.com. You can also find it on our website. Go to the team tab and click on the front office. You'll be able to find me there. Please send me an email if you would like to volunteer, because I can't do it alone. I need your help, Prowlers fans, to make sure that this clock continues to run for Prowlers games in the future. For the Prowlers themselves so far tonight, maybe not even a period as good as the first period they played last night. They were outmatched after that first goal by Columbus. River Dragons spending a lot of time in the Prowlers' end, finishing with 18 shots to Port Huron's 6. And at one point the shots were 5-3 Prowlers. So from that point on, it was a 15-1 shot difference in favor of the Columbus River Dragons. And they were able to put up 2 goals in that period. Kirk Underwood got his own rebound and stashed it, and Jacob Kelly with the other goal taking a pass from Alex Storjahan on the rush. Those are your 2 goals so far tonight. Let's take a quick look around the FPHL tonight. Only 3 other games in action because Watertown and Elmira, as they did last night, postponed their game tonight as a ton of snow has been dumped on upstate New York, and the game just unable to be played. Both of them will be made up. But we start in Carolina, where the Thunderbirds are once again thoroughly dominating the Mississippi Seawolves. It's 8-3 as they play late into the third period. Hat Tricks and Rockers are in the second period of play, and they're tied at 1 at Big Boy Arena. Danbury coming away with a 3-2 OT win yesterday in Motor City. And finally, Binghamton and Delaware battling at Visions Veterans Memorial Arena in Binghamton. So an upstate New York team that has been able to play their game tonight is the Binghamton Black Bears. They lead Delaware 4-0 through 2 periods of play. And here, once again, it is a 2-0 lead for the Columbus River Dragons. Teams just about 2.5 minutes from taking the ice for period number 2 here at the Columbus Civic Center. We'll have it for you right here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Back here in Columbus, both teams taking the ice for the middle frame tonight at the Columbus Civic Center. Prowlers and the River Dragons battling for the second time in this weekend. River Dragons took the first game last night by a 5-2 score, and they hold a 2-0 lead through 20 minutes of play. Brendan Colgan getting set to the net in the net to our right. He made stops on all 6 shots the Prowlers threw his way in the opening frame. Danik Rodriguez finishing up some equipment set up in front of his own bench. He made 16 saves on 18 River Dragon shots in that opening period. While it's also Chase Ballas Jersey Retirement Day here in Columbus, it's also Education Day. And you may be able to hear in the background local high school band getting to play during the intermission as the River Dragons fans cheer that effort. Prowlers with another hill to climb after 20 minutes of play, but not nearly as high as the hill that they had yesterday. And they hope that they'll be able to dig themselves out of this hole and pick up at least 2 points, but ideally for them, a 3-point game to split the series with Columbus. Rodriguez still having some equipment issues in front of the Prowlers bench. And now he's to his feet, has everything set. As referees and players alike are waiting for him to get ready. And he'll head over to the goal crease to our left after a strong first period, despite giving up a pair of goals. Rodriguez just about set, and both teams just about set to get underway here in the second period. Underwood and Graham to draw, and Matt Graham wins it back. Parsons quickly on net, and we're underway in period 2. Day chips it ahead. 3-on-2 for the Dragons if they hurry. It's dropped off. Quick shot gloved and held by Rodriguez. So face-off coming to Rodriguez's left. He still has to finish getting that goal crease ready. Face-off won by Graham to the corner. Chopped in Scantleberry's direction. Comes around towards Parsons. Up to Jay. Graham tried the return feed. Instead, it was taken away by Petrantonio. Day drops to Petrantonio, walking in, being defended neatly, and then a backhander is stopped by Rodriguez. He had a Prowler hanging on him the whole way, so he wasn't able to get off exactly the shot that he wanted, but still a nice backhander that Rodriguez had to stretch to make the save. Prowlers switch up all 5, as do the River Dragons. Head of this face-off next to Danik Rodriguez. Heading behind the net. King took it away, comes back out in front, a sliding block by Evan Foley on the rebound. Another quick shot by Storjahan. This one, Rodriguez has. Those shots keep climbing for the River Dragons. Right now, it says 22-7 on the big board. Ozelinch feeds down to King. Henning had it in his feet. Chopped back towards the Prowlers net. Comes out to Vartiainen. He's in one-on-one against Rogers. Larry Vartiainen takes it wide. Stops up. And taken away by Storjahan. He has a man breaking. It's King. Here comes Lane King. He scores! Lane King on the breakaway. Beats Rodriguez over the glove, and he makes it 3-0 for the River Dragons. Not the start that Matt Graham and the Prowlers envisioned for this second period, as a turnover in the offensive end leads to a breakaway that costs them. And the hill continues to grow for Port Huron. Frageau, D-to-D pass, and it's dumped in. And Haynesville collects behind his own net, icing waved off. DeCumbus taken in by his number 23 opposite Cox, as it's worked back to Minnie. Fan on that pass, Cox turned around shot. Comes all the way to Vanelli at the point, poked away by DeCumbus. Now Merritt gives it to Vinny DeCumbus. His pass doesn't find Freeborn, and it sails into the River Dragon zone. Frageau behind the net. Second opportunity to get it to Vanelli was successful. Vanelli cuts to the middle. Puck's loose. Vanelli recollects. That one deflected high by Wickline. Merritt up the boards. Hits the boards there. Takes a funny hop again. And remember, those boards took a funny hop on Dalton J as the River Dragons went the other way back in the first. And that turned into Kelly's goal. It's all the way over. Frageau winds, fires, save, rebound. Frageau, he scores. Paul Frageau with his second goal in as many games, and he makes it 4-0 Columbus. After a game yesterday for Port Huron that you could say they outplayed the River Dragons, just didn't get the bounces, tonight it's been all Columbus, especially since that first goal was scored. Graham curls back in his own end. Federley one-touched it up in Jay's direction. Graham knocked it down at center. River Dragons come back in. Here's Day. Feeds to Petrantonio. Poked off his stick by Graham. Now Jay the other way, trying to find Graham. That was kicked back by LaBelle. Here's Petrantonio. Tried to drop off to Day. Scantleberry up with speed into the River Dragons end. Takes the shot, saved by Colgan. The rebound swept away by LaBelle. And it will go all the way down for a River Dragons icing. That puck just barely had enough speed to get over the Prowlers goal line, but it did. Although we do have a linesman standing at center ice, so maybe it didn't get all the way there. Linesman going over to have a conversation with River Dragons coach Jerome Bichard. And the face-off will be at center. So the referees with a little my bad as Kelly turns up ice. Storjahan kicked it up to his stick. That one taken away by Chartrand, trying to move the other way, fought off by Rogers. Chartrand still keeping that puck in, but the Dragons finally take control. Federley chopped it up the boards. Now Devaney in his own end. Feeds it across towards Parsons, and now back to Joe Devaney. Tripped up at the line. Storjahan with it. Storjahan hassled by Foley on the back check. Comes over to Kelly, takes the shot. That one caught the glass behind the net. No one knew where the puck was. And whistles blow. Kelly and Parsons were having words. And now Devaney comes in, gives Kelly a shove. Ozelich didn't like that. Referees in between, a bit of a scrum in the Prowlers slot. Everybody separated. Doesn't look like anybody will be going to the penalty boxes. It's possible the referees also lost track of that puck. Nobody knew where it was when it popped up in the air. It's also possible that the puck may have caught the netting. And now it looks like Parsons heading to the box along with Kelly. Still 5-on-5 as far as the players on the ice are concerned. But the penalties are up on the board, so it's possible we will go down to 4-on-4. Although it is a 5-on-4. And now the referees are letting the Prowlers know that they have too many out there. DeCumbus steps off. So 4-on-4 for the next 2 minutes. And now, here we go. Justin Schmidt and Gino Mini. Schmidt has had many battles with Joe Pace and Nick Williams in the past. This time, it's Gino Mini who will drop the gloves at center with the big bruiser, Justin Schmidt. They circle. They wait. And now they come together. Schmidt and Mini just throwing punches. Schmidt with an uppercut drops Mini. And they go down to the ice. And Justin Schmidt will enter the box from a standing ovation from this Columbus crowd. Well, you thought it might be coming when you saw Justin Schmidt in the lineup. And he took down Gino Mini with a nice uppercut. 188 penalty minutes last year with Columbus, the Ice Wars champion at the King of the Rink Cruiserweight division over the summer. Henning, as we get back to hockey, drops to Freeborn. He retreats it to his own end. Comes up Freeborn, taps it into the zone. Vanelli sends it back to center. Henning backhands it only as far as Vanelli. He sidesteps a hit from Dustin Henning. And now Freeborn to the Prowlers captain, who turns up ice. Into the River Dragon zone, takes the shot. That deflected wide. Comes back out in front, and they score! Adam Hainzel's first goal in the FPHL at the side of the net, and the Prowlers are on the board. It's 4-1. Adam Hainzel, the Czech defenseman, picking up his first tally in the FPHL, and great rush by Dustin Henning. Puck popped out in front. It was poked in his direction. He made no mistake standing at the side of the cage. A big goal for Adam Hainzel and the Prowlers as they at least get one back here in the second period. Scantleberry trying for more. Comes in, and that shot blocked aside by LaBelle. Greco around the net. Comes back out to center. Here's Federley. Tried to go to the cross ice towards Johnson, so it was cut off by his own man, Scantleberry. Now Federley with a move at center. Into the River Dragons end. Little shimmy shake, and he's taken into the boards. Johnson. Wrist shot goes wide. DeCumbus and Petrantonio get there together. Vinny DeCumbus sent it towards the slot. LaBelle curls away. 31 seconds left in 4-on-4. Johnson back to the point. Federley winds and fires off the backboards. Scantleberry first on it. Takes the shot. Colgan the save. And now Johnson. Prowlers keeping the play alive. Alex Johnson taken in hard. Penalty will stem from that, and Alex Johnson flat on his back in the corner. They're calling for the trainer. You remember yesterday, Alex Johnson was taken down in what can only be described as a WWE move by Lane King. And now Alex Johnson writhing in the corner. We hope he's okay as the trainer comes out. Greco, the one heading to the box for Columbus. There were two River Dragons on Alex Johnson. And now it looks like Greco will be sent to the dressing room. Petrantonio and heading to represent their teams at the referee circle. Greco heads off the ice. Johnson still being tended to in the River Dragons zone. Dalton J having a word with Gino Mini in the box, although it's not like Gino Mini can fight Greco because Greco has been sent off. So we'll see what stems from this. These two teams don't meet again until January when the Prowlers come back here again for 2 more games. Johnson up to a knee in the corner in River Dragons territory. I'm sure the Columbus crew here on the cameras choosing to not show this, as Alex Johnson now back to his feet. He'll head straight to the dressing room. 5 minutes are up on the board for Michael Greco. Johnson, under his own power, is heading to the dressing room. And now helped off by Austin Federley. He is walking down the tunnel again under his own power. So at least a good sign there. But I'm not sure we see Alex Johnson again tonight, as both teams standing by their benches. We will take a timeout and have a Prowlers power play when we return. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Five-minute Prowlers power play coming up here in Columbus on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page. Will Wiggleman here with you as Alex Johnson was taken in hard. He went off the ice. Michael Greco ended up with a 5-minute major, and he got sent off as well. 4-on-3 power play for the Prowlers for the next 5 seconds. Then it will be 5-on-4 for 4 minutes and 50 seconds. A chance for Port Huron to get back in this game. But they are missing a big piece of their power play in Alex Johnson. Vartiainen feeds it down low. Foley tried to put it back in front. Evan Foley to Freeborn off the bench. Over to Vartiainen, had to handle that on the backhand. Prowlers set up the man advantage. Here's Freeborn. Works behind the net. Out to Graham. Tried to feed it across to Vartiainen, who was ready for the one-timer. Instead, it's the River Dragons with a chance to come the other way. Kelly trying to kick it up to his stick. He does, and a good save by Rodrigue. Foley chips it in. Petrantonio tried to chop it out. It was blocked. Here's Freeborn. Over to Vartiainen. Takes the shot off of Colgan's shoulder. Puck pops straight up in the air. We thought it looked like it went out of play, but the referee is a little bit delayed with that whistle. And in fact, it did. Although I don't think the Freeborn agrees with that. Neither does Petrantonio, so maybe that puck did not actually hit the netting. May have just popped straight up in the air and didn't go out of play. Referees thought it did, so it will be an offensive zone faceoff for the Prowlers. Scantleberry coming back out on this power play with Federley, Jay, Devaney, and Evan Foley still out there. Here's Federley. Looked like he may have broken his stick on that one, but still holding it. Is still in one piece as he has to go retreat and get that puck deep in his own end. 3.5 minutes to go on the man advantage for Port Huron. They can score as many times as they like, and that penalty will still be up on the clock. Devaney gets it back to the point federally. Down to Scantlebury on the half wall. Turnaround shot was blocked. Foley was first on it. Scantlebury knocked that clearing attempt down. Makes a nice move, but couldn't put the puck on net. Now another penalty coming up against Columbus. Frageau was knocking down Foley in front of the cage. Foley tried to put it out in front. And Vanelli touches up. A cross-checking penalty coming against Frageau. And it will be a 5-on-3 for the Prowlers for a full 2 minutes as there's still 2:59 to go on the Greco penalty. That one being served by Jay Krupp. Frageau arguing all the way into the box. Federley's still out there for the Prowlers. They changed the other 4 back to the first unit. Merritt, Graham, Freeborn, and Vartiainen, the 5 for the Prowlers. Federley over to Graham, back to Federley. Graham again to Vartiainen, the one-timer, deflected on, and Colgan made the save. That hit a River Dragon on the way through. Over to Federley. Vartiainen wants the 1T. Instead, Federley takes the wrist shot. Rebound comes to Freeborn. Now Vartiainen takes the shot, save, rebound, poked wide by Graham. Vartiainen to Federley. Puck in his skates. Now to Freeborn. Comes in, high shot. Colgan made the save. Federley again. His shot was blocked and comes out of the zone. Approaching the halfway point of that penalty to Frageau. Prowlers switching things up on the power play unit. Devaney to Federley, still out there. Jay back to Federley. Over to Scantlebury, the one-timer, save, rebound. Pinballs around, puck still loose in the slot, and it's covered up by Colgan, doing a snow angel. Prowlers unable to stuff that one through, and still 48 seconds left on the 5-on-3. It looks like it looked like we might be headed to another timeout. Colgan thought we were, but that is not the case. But Minnie and Schmidt stepping back out of the penalty boxes to stick taps from their teammates. Foley and Petrantonio to draw after Colgan gets everything set with his equipment. Still 4-1 our score. Shots on goal 26-16 now in favor of Columbus. 48 seconds left on Frageau's penalty. A minute 46 left on Greco's. But again, Michael Greco has been sent off the ice for that hit on Alex Johnson, and now Petrantonio trying to fight off Parsons. Parsons is going to get a penalty. Devaney takes down Petrantonio with a hit. And we'll see if it's just one penalty or 2. Definitely Brian Parsons going to the box. Joe Devaney looks like he's heading to his bench. So that will take care of the rest of this, of both man advantages for the Prowlers. Although it will be 4-on-3 for the next 34 seconds. Devaney and LaBelle having some words. Devaney heading to his bench. Barking coming from the River Dragons bench as well. So 4-on-3 for Port Huron for the next 34 seconds. Then it will be 4-on-4 for 58 seconds after that. And then an abbreviated Columbus River Dragons power play. If my math is correct, that will be 28 seconds. Federley back out there. He's been out there for just about this entire man advantage for the Prowlers. Face-off will come to Danik Rodriguez left. 2 minutes up on the board for Brian Parsons. Face-off one back. Here's Devaney. A hooking call is what Parsons is guilty of. Here's Jay. To the point, here's Federley. Federley walks, shoots, and Colgan holds on to that shot. DeCumbus and Freeborn coming out to replace Devaney and Scantlebury. Meanwhile, Storjahan out for Columbus. Jay also heading off. Dustin Henning coming on. Petra Antonio headed off for the River Dragons. Just 12 seconds until this becomes 4-on-4, so the Prowlers switching to 2 forwards and 2 defensemen rather than 3 forwards. Rogers sends it all the way down off the boards. That will take care of the Frejot penalty. Turned over, Storjahan couldn't get a shot off. And Rodrigue will just eat that puck and put out the fire. We'll take a timeout. 9:57 to go in the second period. And the Prowlers trailing by 3. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
Back here in Columbus, 4-1 our score with 9:57 to go in the second period. Prowlers do have the last goal, though. It's Adam Hainzel's first career pro goal. That's our most recent one. As it's 4-on-4 for the next 55 seconds, and then after that, it will be a River Dragons abbreviated power play. So the Prowlers get nothing out of the 5-minute major, no power play goal out of the 5-minute major to Michael Greco after he hit Alex Johnson in the corner. Johnson went off to the dressing room. Now Freeborn causing some havoc in front. Couldn't get a shot away. Chop towards the point, Federley winds, fires, and that was blocked. Headman feed towards Storjahan went through him. And icing is called on Columbus. Prowlers make a full change. Gino Mini steps back out. Well, they changed 3 of 4. Gino Mini stepping back out after first shift for him after his fight with Justin Schmidt earlier in the period. Devaney to the point, Mini deflected by Foley, and Colgan made the save. Storjahan taken down by Devaney. Puck gets dumped in. Rodrigue plays it. Final seconds ticking off of the 4-on-4. And it's now a River Dragons power play, but here's Devaney in. Joe Devaney for the wraparound, and Colgan covers up. Joe Devaney tried the wraparound, but Colgan gets to the far post quick enough. And with 23 seconds left on the penalty to Brian Parsons, it will be an offensive zone faceoff for the Prowlers penalty killers. Cox moves up the left wing side. Cross corner dub. Krupp first on it. Drop by Wickline to the point. Vanelli's shot hit a body in front. Wickline keeps the puck deep, but Devaney finds it, goes off the boards all the way down. That will take care of Parsons' penalty. So we're back to 5-on-5. Ozelinch fanned, but the second opportunity is able to get it up. One-time shot, goes wide. Cox tried to force the rebound on net, but it hopped over his stick. Wickline's pass was to nobody, but luckily for the Dragons, it was recovered in the neutral zone. Scantlebury feeds Graham. Matt Graham to the backhand. Goes to the corner. Now back to center. Federley retreats into his own end and plays it off of Wickline's stick. Cox just poking it away from Graham and back to his defense. 7:46 to go in the second period. Hainsel couldn't find that puck in his feet. Now Federley. Cross ice pass towards Graham. Hainsel cancels out with Petrantonio. Here's Scantlebury. Taken down by Schmidt almost all the way. And Scantlebury gives Schmidt a shove. Schmidt trying to go with Scantlebury. Tucker Scantlebury will have none of it. Meanwhile, battle for the puck in the corner. River Dragons get it out. Federley backhands it back. As far as the red line, here's Petrantonio. Left it behind Day. Jay flips to Graham. Tried to find Jay again, said Schmidt. Sends it in the direction of the Prowlers bench, and it goes out of play over top of the boards. 6:56 to go in the second period. It's a 4-1 game. Prowlers set for an offensive zone faceoff. Merritt, Freeboard, and DeCumbus, that line out there for Port Huron. LaBelle tried to chop it around. Here's Freeboard, all the way this side to Henning. He just gets it deep. LaBelle to King, but it's turned over and then right back by the River Dragons. Here's King into the zone, has a goal tonight. To the point, LaBelle's shot, hit Rodrigue in the mask. Rogers puts it back on and kicks David a beauty from Danik Rodrigue. Kelly to Storjahan. Comes back to the point, Rogers. He backhands it deep. Henning curls away from pressure. Flips it off the glass, just off the glass. That hit, looked like it hit the top of the pane of glass there. And not out of play. Would have been a 2-minute penalty if he did flip it out of play. Merritt up the near side boards, Freeborn on it. Steps past his man. Now feeds Vartiainen into the zone. Larry backhands it deep. Vanelli there as the Prowlers making forward changes. Kelly, cross ice pass. That's Ferris trying to go in front. And now Devaney. Over to Foley, shot save and kicked out by Colgan. Hainsel put it back on, sliding block by Fallis. And then that shot on net stopped and held by Colgan. Prowlers getting some pressure, but Brendan Colgan, with some good saves. And Fallis heads back to the bench with some cheers and some stick taps from his team. He's the celebrity player tonight as they retired his number. Devaney tried to feed it in front. That was behind Foley and Vartiainen. Wickline up the other way. Minnie off the boards. Couldn't get it past Krupp. Rodrigue out to play it. Off the glass. Comes right to Foley exiting the zone. Foley gets it to Devaney. Backhand. And he pushed it just wide. Hainsel to Minnie. He couldn't handle it. Then Gino Minnie takes out a River Dragon. And that's going to be a penalty on Gino Minnie. One he had to take as he fell down trying to dive for that puck. A 2-minute tripping call to Gino Minnie and a Columbus power play when we return. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
.441 to go in the second period. The Prowlers will head to the PK as Gino Mini is in the box. 2 minutes for tripping. He fumbled with the puck just inside the River Dragons blue line, tried to dive for it, but ended up taking out the legs of an oncoming Dragon. And that is a tripping penalty, but it surely saved a 2-on-1 rush the other way. Frejo over to Day. Day walks down around the net. Heading takes him into the boards. Heading lost his stick. Puck comes out in front. Rodrigue makes the save. .422 to go. Shots on goal now 29-22 in favor of Columbus. Boy, this has felt like such a long period. Lots of penalties. We had a fight earlier in the frame. And we still have .422 to go and a whole period after this one. Dalton Jay finishes his check at center, but the Dragons keep the puck in the Prowlers zone. Comes to Day at the point. Rogers back to Day. Fed across. Henning got a stick on it. He drops Petrantonio. And Petrantonio is going to get a penalty as he was trying to defend Dustin Henning from his knees. Colgan touches up, and we'll have 4-on-4 action for the next minute 15. Two minutes for tripping coming against Josh Petrantonio. And we'll have 4-on-4 hockey. Storjahan, LaBelle, Frejo, and Kelly, the four out there for Columbus. DeCumbis, Foley, Federley, and Parsons for Port Huron as we begin to Colgan's left. Frejo works behind the net, curls away from DeCumbis, and slows things down. He steps out, sends a pass up in LaBelle's direction. LaBelle fanned on the pass. Instead gets it to Kelly on the sideboards. Kelly takes the return fee from Storjahan, but Federley ends up with the puck. Federley up the boards towards DeCumbis. That comes to Frejo. He sends Storjahan on his way. Federley checked him off. Foley took the puck, and now Foley gets it back from Parsons. Off the boards in Federley's direction. Freeborn chasing after it with LaBelle. Freeborn lifts LaBelle's stick and takes the puck. Federley had to get down to block it at the point. And a rush now for the River Dragons. Kelly to the net. Puck was there. Nobody got a shot off. And now Parsons clears it out. Final 10 seconds ticking off of Minnie's penalty as Brian Parsons hits the red line, dumps it deep. Prowlers power play now for the next 45 seconds as Minnie steps out of the box. Scantleberry steals, turnaround shot is blocked. Minnie at the point, dumps it in deep, and he took a hit from Vanelli as he did it. Here's Vanelli. Puck bounced away from him. Now comes up to Devaney. 2:20 to go in the period. To Jay. He scores! Dalton Jay beats Colgan 5-hole. The Prowlers are within 2 with 2:17 to go in the second period. Just a quick shot from the circle from Dalton Jay. His goals in back-to-back games. He makes it a 4-2 contest. Good pass from Devaney. He'll get the primary assist. For Dalton J, that's goal number 198 in his FPHL career. Face-off tied up here. Scantlebury into the zone. One hand on his stick. And a penalty coming against Rogers, who was draped all over him. Didn't let Scantlebury get the second hand on his stick. And the Prowlers would go right back to the power play right after scoring with 2:09 to go in the second period. So Scantlebury draws the holding penalty against Rogers. Krupp and Federley getting an explanation from the referees. And now we get set for another Prowlers power play. Graham, Freeborn, Merritt, Vartiainen, and DeCumbus. That unit out there right now for Port Huron. No defenseman out there, although Larry Vartiainen does have limited defense experience. Freeborn collects in the corner, stops up on the half wall, gives to Graham down low, back to Freeborn, but Ozelinch got a stick on it. DeCumbus at the point, over to Vartiainen. DeCumbus quarterbacking this power play. LaBelle couldn't take the loose puck. Petrantonio does. He goes around his own net. Fanned on the clearing attempt, so the Prowlers keep it in only momentarily as Petrantonio uses his body to take it out. Graham back in. Now Freeborn walks down the wall, feeds behind the net to Matt Graham, but his pass in front only found Petrantonio, goes off the boards and out to center. Vartiainen overskated it. Petrantonio finishes the job to get it all the way into Prowler ice. Minute 5 to go on the penalty, a minute 11 now in the second period as Vartiainen waits behind his own net. Up to Federley. Hits the red line, gets it deep. Vinelli over to Fregeau. He goes off the glass all the way back down. Jay fighting off Wickline. He gets it to Federley, who moves up ice. To Devaney on the right wing. Curls it in. Scantlebury on it. He drops it off. Comes to the point, Federley. Over to Jay. Tried the one-timer, that didn't work. Comes back to Jay again. Wrist shot was blocked. And they're pointing at a Prowler down low for a penalty. Unless they say that puck came out of the zone. It was a referee who looked like he had his arm up and was pointing, but no, it is just an offsides call against Port Huron with 27 seconds left in period 2, 18 seconds left on the power play. Poked back out to center and sent all the way back down by Storjahan. He gives Scantlebury a shot on the way by. Scantlebury had some words for him. Almost a turnover right in front of the Prowlers' net. That could have been dangerous. Final seconds ticking off in this period. Devaney almost had his pocket picked by Rogers. 3 seconds left in the second. Scantlebury takes a cross-check from Fregeau, and Storjahan couldn't get a shot off. We're through 2 periods of play here in Columbus, and the score, Columbus River Dragons 4 and the Port Huron Prowlers 2. Better period for the Prowlers certainly, but still not any closer than they were at the end of the first. Shots on goal for that period, 16-12 in favor of Port Huron, 30-22 overall in favor of Columbus. So 2 periods of play down, 1 more to go in regulation as the Prowlers look to overcome a 2-goal deficit. Well, secure your seats for the Prowlers' next home game as they take on the Binghamton Black Bears on Friday, November 25th with puck drop at McMorran Place, scheduled for 7:05 p.m. Tickets are available online at phprowlers.com/tickets or by calling the box office at 810-985-6166. That's online at phprowlers.com/tickets or by phone at 810-985-6166. Second intermission underway here in Columbus. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
Back here in Columbus, Will Wiggleman with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Prowlers trailing the Columbus River Dragons 4-2. It was 4-0 early in that second period. We'll get through that. We'll take you back through that second period in just a couple of minutes after we take you around the FPHL. 3 other games in action as Elmira and Watertown's matchup in Watertown was postponed due to heavy snowfall there. But also in upstate New York tonight, the Binghamton Black Bears did play their game, and they defeated the Delaware Thunder 5-1, out shooting Delaware almost 2-1. 49-25 were the shots in that one. Danbury and Motor City are heading to overtime for the second straight night. John McDonald with the tying goal with under 2 minutes to go, and the goalie pulled. So the Hat Tricks forcing overtime, trying to pick up 2 points as they did yesterday against Motor City at Big Boy Arena. And finally, the Carolina Thunderbirds thumped the Mississippi Seawolves 8-3 in Carolina. Thunderbirds sweep that 2-game set. Here it's 4-2. It was 4-0. Just 2:34 into the second period, Paul Frageau scored the River Dragons' second goal in a span of 1 minute and 17 seconds. But Adam Hainzel answered back in 4-on-4 with his first career FPHL goal. And then Joe Devaney gave Dalton Jay a pass into the zone late in the period, and he beat Brendan Colgan through the 5-hole to get the Prowlers within 2 in the final minutes of the frame. So that's where we stand as we're just about set for period 3 here from Columbus. Can the Prowlers complete the comeback? We'll find out when we return. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession for your giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Well, a little bit of a delay here in the intermission. Once as we saw yesterday, Zamboni still out there with 2 minutes up on the clock here in Columbus. So we will have to wait a couple of more minutes to get our third period hockey. Chuck-a-puck here in Columbus taking a little bit longer than they usually take in Port Huron. Both teams set in their tunnels, so are the referees, but again, a couple more passes for the Zamboni still to come. Well, it was a penalty-filled second period after just one penalty in the first. We'll take you through the highlights. We won't go through every single one, but we will take you through the highlights. Gino Mini and Justin Schmidt dropped the gloves at center ice in what was a matchup worthy of the main event at Ice Wars, which is an event over the summer that Justin Schmidt ended up winning the Cruiserweight Championship. He took down Gino Mini with an uppercut. Those two got 5 minutes for fighting each. And then a minute and a half later, Michael Greco boarded Alex Johnson in the corner of the Columbus River Dragons end. Johnson was down for multiple minutes. Greco received a 5-minute boarding measure and a game misconduct. So both the River Dragons and the Prowlers finished that second period with 5 defensemen, and they will both finish the game with 5 defensemen. Alex Johnson will not return tonight. And that's all we know right now of his status, but Alex Johnson will not return. So the Prowlers down to 5 defensemen, and is what's already been a tough game for them. They have to push here in this third period, trailing by 2. So a few more penalties in that second period, and finally resulted in a power play goal for the Prowlers. Dalton Jay's goal from Joe Devaney was a power play marker with under 3 minutes to play in the frame, and that brought the Prowlers within 2 and really gave them a feeling like they can do this, and we'll see how they come out in this third period. Zamboni on its final pass here at the Columbus Civic Center. Thanks for joining us so much tonight on what's been a special night for the River Dragons. It's Education Day and also the jersey retirement for Chase Fallis, the 31-year-old, first ever captain of this River Dragons team. He was the celebrity signing tonight. He's seen a few shifts. We've seen him out there. As both teams about to get set to come back onto the ice. Referees step out as the clock is running here to get set for the third period of action. The high school band is going nuts over up top to our right. Dragons hit the ice, Prowlers hit the ice, and we are minutes away from third period action here in Columbus. Prowlers finishing up a 5-game set of road games. They currently are 2-1-1 on the road trip. Both of those wins coming in Mississippi. The OT loss was in the first game of this road trip. That was in Motor City. And then the regulation loss was here yesterday, a 5-2 defeat. They will be back home next Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. That will also be our next broadcast, November 25th, when they host the Binghamton Black Bears. Puck drop scheduled for 7:05. The pregame will go live at 6:50. It's all right here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page. Both teams, well, it's about set to go. As face-off set at center, Underwood and Graham to take the draw. Goalies ready, players ready, referees ready, and the puck is down in this third period. Federley dances around Day at center, gives to Dalton Jay, quick shot, save made by Colgan. Petrantonio goes off the boards and out. Federley up to Jay. Finds its way back to Austin Federley, who's played a ton of time in this game. He was out there for just about the entirety of the 5-minute penalty to Michael Greco that was served by Jay Krupp. He's back out there again for Port Huron, playing defense. Petrantonio works back to the point. Vanelli takes it on the backhand, gets it to the forehand, and now Petrantonio again. To the slot, Day tried the shot, hit Parsons and went wide. Jay and Petrantonio come together on the boards. Dalton Jay gets it around a man at the point. 2-on-2 rush. Scantlebury walking around. Storjahan takes the shot, save, rebound, and LaBelle has it. There's a sharp angle try from Tucker Scantlebury, but a good power move on the forward, Storjahan, who is playing back. Hainzel around the boards towards Devaney. Played back into the Prowlers zone. Gino Mini holds behind the net, steps out, almost gave it away under pressure from Lane King, and Rodrigue had to put the glove on top and hold on. Foley and Storjahan set to draw, and Hainzel works behind the net. Up towards Devaney. Puck hops up in the air off the dasher, and Devaney tried to force it out. Instead it comes near side Hainzel. He goes up to Devaney, but it's turned back the other way. Mini picks up the loose puck below the goal line. Lofts high in Foley's direction. He chases it down along with Rogers. Rogers got there first, got it only as far as the line. Play stayed on sides only for a moment. Hainzel gloved it in. Puck comes out to center. Wickline dumps it in. Mini steps away from Cox, plays it to the boards. Here's Krupp to Cox down low. He couldn't get a stick on it. Freeborn chops it all the way down, and icing is called. That puck slid well on the new ice. Freshly Zamboni'd ice here at the Columbus Civic Center. Wickline and Merritt set to draw. Hainzel goes behind the net. Mini lifts it out. D-to-D, here's Frageau. Rolling puck tipped in by Krupp. Hainzel turns away from pressure. Now Krupp. Fed down low. Push back towards Frageau at the point. Said Prowler's able to get it out. Justin Schmidt first on it in his own end. Plays it in Frageau's direction. Comes to center. Parsons played it forward. Graham on it. Graham almost had it taken away. Henning moved it up. And now Freeborn into the zone to the backhand. Couldn't get a shot away. Scantleberry almost knocked down that clearing attempt for Dragons surrounding the puck on the boards. Comes to Parsons at the point. Wrist shot blocked. Scantleberry picks it up. His turnaround shot also blocked. A couple of blocks there from Kirk Underwood. Jay put it on net and covered up by Colgan. Offensive zone draw coming for the Prowlers. Parsons and Henning, the defense pair out there right now for Port Huron. Henning started the game with Alex Johnson on defense, but Johnson took that hit in the second period. He will not return tonight. Parsons shot deflected, rebound, they score! Tucker Scantleberry crashing the crease, and it's a one-goal game with 6:21 to go in the third. Tucker Scantleberry back on the score sheet. It's his 6th goal of the season. Prowlers just 1 goal away from mounting a 4-goal comeback in this game. Dragons almost answered quickly, but Henning with a good play to keep it in front of him. Henning at the point, walks, takes the shot, looking for Graham's stick in the slot, couldn't find it. And Petrantonio lofts it out. Still plenty of time to go in this one, as Henning missed Graham at center. Jay looked like he kept the icing from being called, but instead they did call icing. Dalton Jay's stick was the first to touch that puck. So The faceoff will come all the way back into the Prowlers' end. Matt Graham was not happy with that call. You could see him barking at the ref immediately after the icing call was made. Quick shot deflected off a stick and into the netting, out of play. 4:18 into the third period. Prowlers have come back within one on Tucker Scantlebury's 6th of the season. Henning moves up the boards. Puck hopped on him. Now King tried to whip it quickly in front. That hit Parsons and ended up rimming around this side. Comes back Brian Parsons' way. He hits the red line. One hands it deep. He'll go get it himself. Brian Parsons, that one went off the top of the net. Now it's sent this side. King, his long pass was too high for Kelly, and look out on the Prowlers bench. Faceoff will come all the way back into Dragons territory as players had to go ducking on the Port Huron bench. Luckily for the Prowlers, everybody on that bench wearing hockey equipment, as the head coach for the Prowlers, Matt Graham, also a player, of course, as Devaney behind the net. To Foley. Tried to feed it in front. Puck loose in skates of a River Dragons defenseman. Vartiainen takes it on the half wall. To Foley down low, poked off his stick by Fregeau. He goes off the glass and back out. Puck rolling all the way for an icing in the Prowlers' end. And we will take our first time out of the third period. Oh, the Prowlers are crawling back in this one. They're within one. Still plenty of time to go in the third. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Early stages, third period in Columbus, as the Prowlers trying to continue to come back in this game, down 4-0 once, but now just a one-goal game. Still lots of time to go in the third period. Puck tied up, Fregeau takes it, goes off the glass, and back out. Will this be another icing? It will. So we'll try it again back in the River Dragons' end. 14:36 to go now in the third period. Merritt and Wickline, the two in the center circle. Fregeau takes it again, this time a little bit softer off the boards, and that they say it hit Henning's stick, so no icing this time. Federley sidesteps a hit. Three Prowlers in there battling for the puck against two Dragons. Worked up the wall in Fregeau's direction. Now DeCumbus with it. DeCumbus off the boards around Fregeau, but it's recovered by Vanelli in his own end. Fregeau keeps it moving in the offensive direction. Freeborn works through center. Tried to step back to the outside. Puck bounced on him, so he just dumps it in. Now Krupp kicked off his skate. Rodrigue keeps it moving up the right wing side in Graham's direction. He canceled out with a River Dragon. Now Freeborn up with Scantlebury. Liam Freeborn stops up, gives Domini a shot, and that one whistled just wide. Scantleberry trying to make his way in front. Didn't have the puck with him. Puck off the boards and just goes out to center. Mini first on it. He dumps it back in. Reverse to the far side. Comes off that weird hop on the board. Scantleberry shot. Rebound. Graham batted at it. And Colgan had both. LaBelle up to Petrantonio. Cross ice to Day. Has Petrantonio going to the net. Couldn't get it there cleanly. Day had a little bit of trouble with that puck as he was trying to control the cross ice pass. Puck lofted back out to center all the way down, and icing is waved off. Very close to the third icing of the period against Columbus. Instead, Parsons slows things down behind his own net. Up towards Scantleberry. This one will be an icing, and it will be called against the Prowlers with 12:25 to go in the third. Parsons seems to, and Scantleberry thought that hit Tucker Scantleberry in the neutral zone. Linesmen disagree. So the faceoff will come to Rodrigue's right. Foley and Storjahan to take it. Storjahan plays it forward, and the quick shot didn't find the cage. Tucker Scantleberry off the boards and out. River Dragons coming right back in. King first on it, couldn't feed it in front. Now Storjahan to King behind the net. All the way up to Rogers at the point. Wrist shot blocked by Scantleberry. Foley plays it off the boards, just out. And now Jay and Scantleberry will head off the ice, so the Prowlers can complete that forward change. Devaney back into the zone looking for Foley. Couldn't find him. Devaney tried to feed it out. Vartiainen poked at it, and Krupp forced to retreat. Long pass up in Krupp's direction. Parsons knocks it down with his hand. Moves up ice. Brian Parsons into the zone, takes the shot. It was blocked. And rebound cleared away by Rogers. That hit Foley's stick, so icing waved off. Hainsel takes a big hit from Wickline. Adam Hainsel still on that puck. Now he takes down Wickline. Vartiainen sent back in Wickline's direction. Out of his reach, though. Hainsel and Wickline come together again in the corner. Frageau a shot from the point. That one went high. And now Rodrigue covers that puck as it makes its way back to the front of the net. 4-3 our score, 10:53 to go in the third period. A much closer game than it was early in the second period when it was 4-0 Columbus. Prowlers have crawled back to make it a one-score game, and still with over half the period to work with. Face-off won back by Underwood. It hopped up on River Dragon at the line. Hainsel off the glass and out. Worked over to Frageau, and now Petrantonio. Wrist shot, missed it wide. Comes all the way back out to center. Schmidt. D to Frageau. Off the boards, Hainsel trying to keep it away from Day, but Austin Day has it. Down to a knee. Puck loose there behind the net. Popped out in front, and DeCumbus takes it, turned it over. Underwood had his stick lifted by Freeborn. Now puck back down low. Comes out in front, a big save from Rodrigue. He dives to cover it as Petrantonio was sneaking down the slot, trying to snag that puck. But luckily for the Prowlers, Danik Rodrigue was alert, and he got the pad on that shot. Storjahan and Graham now as the Prowlers switch up their offensive team. Jay has LaBelle turned, and now Dalton Jay stops up, waits for help. Goes over to the near side corner where Graham is waiting. Scantleberry looking for Jay in front. That one is gone. Not sure where the puck went there, but all we know is that it went out of play and that we will take a timeout with 9:48 to go in the third period. Prowlers trail by 1. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
.9:48 to go, third period. Prowlers have crawled back to within a goal. It's a 4-3 game here in Columbus. Will Wiggleman with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page. Thanks so much for joining us on this Saturday night. Shots on goal right now, 31-28 in favor of Columbus. Prowlers have carried the play for much of that second period, and so far, a lot of this third period. Gino Mini a wrist shot, that one deflected and found the back of the boards. Scantleberry's shot was blocked in the slot, and now King. Cross ice dump, Mini bodied off. Jay off the boards, behind the net. King tried to feed it in front, and now Mini. Up to Jay, all the way over towards Graham. Poked away from him. Now King. Moved it up, LaBelle had to curl back. Almost turned it over to Scantleberry at center. Instead, his pass does get all the way to Vanelli. Its intended target, then Vanelli almost sent it to the Prowlers bench. Good hit from Scantleberry. Mini, all the way up to Jay. Feeds it towards Graham. He couldn't handle it. Now Krupp starts to rush the other way. Wickline trying to get the return feed. Instead, Federley stops it and leaves it for Parsons. Up towards Jay, but it comes all the way through to Rogers. Parsons has it again. Sent it Vartiainen's way. Comes all the way to Vanelli. Now Krupp back in his own end. Moved up ice. Off the boards into the Prowlers zone. Heading absorbs a check from Wickline. Devaney. Cross ice dump. Moved around the boards. Cox. Up in Wickline's direction. Icing waved off as Wickline got there first. Feeds over to Krupp on the near side. Held up against the boards by Vartiainen. Wickline and Foley coming in to help dig it loose. Parsons also involved in there. Puck still stuck in there. Parsons' stick went flying. Arms stay down as Devaney flips it high out to center. Vartiainen couldn't knock it down. And Rogers backhands it out. Here's Henning. Gets the blue line. Dustin Henning works to the front. Puck was in the slot for a moment, but the River Dragons able to clear it out. Columbus wanted a call there as Day was taken down at center, but instead it's sent back to River Dragon ice as we approach 7 minutes to go in the third period of a one-goal game. Hainsel back with it. Couple of Prowlers in there digging for the loose puck. It comes to Fregeau at the point. Wrist shot deflected by Day and a save by Rodrigue. Freeborn trying to poke it out. Petrantonio on that. And it goes down low to Merritt. Takes a hit from Petrantonio, who takes the puck off a pass. Here's Schmidt. Quick shot goes wide. Fregeau overskated it. The puck stays in. Hainsel stops up behind his own net. 6:18 to go in the third period. Both teams making some changes as it's moved up to Scantlebury. Tried to cut back to the outside. Storjahan took it off his stick. Shot stopped by Rodrigue. That was off of Kelly's stick. Hainsel holding Kelly behind the net. Minnie in there as well. Storjahan sends it back to the point. Wrist shot deflected towards the cage. Looked like it hit the side of the net. Now Kelly harassed by Hainsel. King now with it. Scantlebury giving it to him. Now Kelly gives it to King, but he couldn't drag it in front. Jay starts the other way. Dalton Jay, power move to the net. Fed it in front. Graham retrieves it on the half wall. Couldn't get it deep, and the River Dragons push back to center. Henning off to Federley. Cox in there, takes it away. Pass comes out in front. Krupp unable to take it. It hit a Prowler stick on the way. Now Wickline almost had it poked out of the zone. Now Federley. Wickline takes it away. Quick shot. Waffle boarded by Rodrigue, and the rebound poked wide. Vartiainen chops it up the boards. Quick shot save by Rodrigue. He didn't know where the puck was. Luckily for him, Evan Foley had it. Puck goes off the boards, high up in the air, not out. Cox with a wind and fire. And Rodrigue holds on. 4:32 to go in the third period. Prowlers surviving the last couple of shifts. They still need a goal. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
.432 to go in the third period of what's been an exciting game. River Dragons got the first four. Prowlers have the last three. And that's where we stand late in the third period. Face-off coming deep in Prowlers territory. 3,301 here to watch it at the Columbus Civic Center. Federley off the boards. Fregeau at the point, in and out of Rodrigue's glove, and he dives out to hang on with 4:25 to go in the period. Petrantonio and Merritt set to draw again. Comes to the boards. Federley working away from Day, reverses it near side to Cummins and Petrantonio on it. Now Merritt fed it towards the middle. Underwood picked it off. Henning does all he can just to poke it back out to center. And it ends up in the River Dragon zone. Fregeau up Petrantonio's direction. Puck goes all the way far enough for an icing against Columbus. Exactly 4 minutes to go in the third period. Huge offensive zone face-off here for the Prowlers. Graham line out there against Petrantonio line. And it's sent all the way back down again. So another icing coming. No, the puck just dies short of the line. So Scantlebury puts it in deep. Comes up to King. Scantlebury steals, takes a shot off the crossbar and out of play. Oh boy, Tucker Scantlebury that close to the tying goal. He just finds the iron. Storjahan and Graham set to go to Colgan's left. Or right, excuse me. Parsons takes it at center. Over to Graham. He takes a hit as he made that pass. Now Parsons again. Graham, cross corner dump. Minnie held it in at the point. Put it on. Vanelli blocked it. Minnie couldn't hold that one in as he was backpedaling. Scantlebury brings it back to offensive zone territory, but it goes to center. Minnie curls back up towards Jay. Now LaBelle the other way, under 3 to play. Rodrigue hands off to Parsons. Kelly pressuring him. That puck was loose at the side of the Prowler net for just a second. Scantlebury moves up ice. Here comes Cox in. Cox blew a tire. And Minnie flips it forward. Rogers puts it back in. River Dragons touch up, and it's played in deep. Puck hops off the glass there. Some interesting gaps in the glass here at Columbus Civic Center, excuse me. Especially where there are doors here. Big gaps in the glass. We may have lost a puck or two to that. Worked around over top of Federley. He couldn't reach it with the glove. And whistles blow. And the face-off is coming back into the River Dragons' end. Not sure what the call is here, but it was called by the linesman, so either maybe a hand pass or knocked down with a high stick, something along those lines, but it is an offensive zone face-off for the Prowlers. 1:54 to go in the third period. Now the referees are convening at center. Danik Rodrigue is in the right face-off circle, just trying to get a head start, because I'm sure he will be straight to the bench as soon as the Prowlers get possession. The face-off will be outside of the Columbus zone, so Rodrigue retreats just a few feet. Barrett sent it forward, but LaBelle gets it off the glass all the way down. Icing waved off. Federley around the net. Little toe drag move, and Federley gives up to Freeborn. Rodrigue staying put as that puck sent back to center. 90 seconds to go in the third. Prowlers in. River Dragons thought it was offside. Merritt shoved off by Frejot. Prowler net is empty. Day drops it off. Here's Underwood. Tried to send it towards the empty cage. Now Federley. As we hit the final minute of play here in the third period, Austin Federley turns it up ice. Vinny DeCumbus dumps it into the zone. Colgan on it. Rims it around. Sent out to center. Off of a skate and down into the Prowler's end. Parsons the only one back, but he keeps Petrantonio from centering that puck. Federley with 36. Gets it up to Foley. Puts it in. Jay first on it. Comes around to Federley. Down low, Jay in front. Save, rebound. Graham tries to put it back on. And that one slipped all the way through the blue paint. Day off the glass. High back out to center. 15 seconds left on the clock. Parsons has to hurry. All the way up to Graham. Turned back. Parsons got it with the glove. 5 seconds left. And poked back to center. The River Dragons are going to win this one. They hit the empty net with 0.2 seconds left. And that's going to put a bow on this one. 0.2 seconds on the clock here in Columbus. As the River Dragons hit the empty net, they make it a 5-3 game, and that will be your final as the Prowlers come back, finishes just short. The Prowlers, they battled back, they made it a game. It was a 4-0 game early in the second, but they were unable to complete the comeback. Your final here from Columbus, 5-3 for the Columbus River Dragons. We invite you to tune into our next broadcast on Friday, November 25th, when the Prowlers host the Binghamton Black Bears. Puck drop is scheduled for 7:05 p.m. and the pregame show starts at 6:50. It's all right here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page. Well, to dig into this game for the Prowlers, a tough one, a really tough one for Port Huron to swallow as they fall 5-3 here, almost making a comeback. Tucker Scantleberry scored an early third period goal to make it a 1-goal game, but the Prowlers unable to get anything else. Only 6 shots total for them in that third period. And Port Huron heads home with 0 points after sweeping Mississippi last week. They get swept here in Columbus this weekend. On the 5-game road trip, Prowlers end up 2-2-1. And they will head home this upcoming weekend. They will host the Binghamton Black Bears. The 2 games after Thanksgiving will be Prowlers and Black Bears at McMorran Place. Prowlers will be debuting their brand new black home uniforms. Those should be revealed at some point this week. And they will be worn this upcoming weekend. But for now, Prowlers have to head home empty-handed here from Columbus. Thank you so much for tuning in with me this weekend. Once again, the Prowlers fall 5-3 and lose both games this weekend in Columbus. Thank you for watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.